Hey there. So happy to connect with you about your trip to Peru and Bolivia. I've put together an itinerary. I'm going to go through it real quick just to show you the differences that I made and also little tweaks that we can do and incorporate it into the trip if it doesn't meet your budget, needs, or dates. So let's go through it together. I'm going to share my screen. And here is the PDF that I'm going to send to you as well. I started it in the first week of July. The only thing on this itinerary that has specific dates is the train to Lake Titicaca, and that one runs only 3 times a week. So it is working with these dates. But of course, if we need to tweak it, just let me know and we will find a way. So I have you arriving in Lima and spending 2 nights in Lima. Transportation from airport to the hotel, a nice 4-star property is included for 2 nights. And then our gourmet, really wonderful private walking tour of Lima is included. If you have strict budgets, if this trip doesn't meet the budgets, then I suggest considering removing Lima altogether and focusing on the Inca, triangle of Cusco, Sacred Valley, and Machu Picchu, because Lima does add to the cost. And perhaps if you're not a city person, we can remove it and use those funds to incorporate into the heart and core of the trip. After 2 nights in Lima, we're going to fly on July 10th to Cusco, which will bring us to Sacred Valley, and we will spend 2 nights there. We're acclimating here. We're visiting indigenous communities. We're visiting Inca sites. We're having lunch both days, staying at a beautiful boutique 4-star hotel. This brings the price down as opposed to staying in a 5-star luxury property, which there are many here in the valley. The days we can tweak according to what your interests are, but right now you are visiting the salt mines, you're visiting Misminai community, Ollantaytambo ruins. So there's lots to see and do during those 2 days where we're acclimating. Here's a tip. If we need to think about budgets, making the trip shorter, we can actually spend only 1 night in Sacred Valley. And on day 4, when we have a full day of touring, we can take an evening train to Machu Picchu. This limits our time in the Sacred Valley Hotel. And it also means in Machu Picchu, we would only need 1 entry ticket as opposed to 2. So that's just something else to think about. I know this is a lot of information thrown at you. I just want you to have all the options. So please feel free to reach out with any questions if I'm going too fast on this itinerary. But I know you've gone through this already, so I want to show you just the changes that I made to make sure that we're fitting within your needs. So here's that day 5 where we are waking up in the morning and go to Machu Picchu, doing a tour of Machu Picchu, spending the night, waking up the next morning, and doing another tour of Machu Picchu before returning to Cusco. So like I said before, instead of 2 entries to Machu Picchu, there is a way to do it with just one, and that would mean spending a night, waking up in the morning, and having a nice full day tour. Let me know if you are willing to have one visit to Machu Picchu as opposed to 2, and that way we can eliminate that from the cost as well. In Machu Picchu, I included the Casa Andina Standard. It's a great 3-star property. It's a Peruvian chain. They have hotels throughout the country. It's a solid choice if we're thinking about saving on costs. And Machu Picchu is one of those places where you're really seriously just sleeping in the room because you're arriving late, you're spending the whole day at the ruins, and then you're leaving. So you don't want to pour too many of your funds into the hotel in Machu Picchu. And then day 6, after our full day tour and hike of Machu Picchu, we're going by train back to Cusco, and we're going to spend 3 nights in Cusco. So our first day is our arrival. We're going to spend 3 nights at a 4-star property. It's a great boutique, Casa Andina Premium. The second day in Cusco, which is July 14th, will be dedicated to seeing the city tour, seeing the ruins, really getting to know the city. And then July 15th, our third night in Cusco, will be dedicated to the Rainbow Mountain. And we can discuss the Rainbow Mountain. There's Palcoyo, which is less visited. There's Vinicunca, which is the famous one that you see on social media. And so we can talk about that, but we do that privately. And that would take up most of your third day in Cusco, arriving in the late afternoon. So you'll have time to go to dinner and so forth. And then July 16th, we're leaving Cusco behind and taking that gorgeous train ride to Lake Titicaca, where we will spend 2 nights on the Peruvian side. So the first day is a full day on the train, and then you check into your hotel, which is right on the lake, nice 4-star property. And then the second day, we're going to visit Uros Islands, Tequila Island, really all the highlights that are on the Peruvian side and all the wonderful people that live here. And now, July 18th, we're saying goodbye to Peru and we're crossing the lake and arriving, visiting all the sites of the Bolivian side of Lake Titicaca, and then ending in La Paz. It's a true full day tour. You're going to go to a lot of sites on the lake and then end in the city itself, where we will spend 2 nights again. So I love not having one night stops. You at least have 2 nights in each location or more. And that it will allow you to see the place, get a feel for it, go out to dinner, have some time to sit in a square and people watch. You don't want to hop around too much, having just one night stays in each place. And that is because you're in high altitude. So you want to make sure you're taking it easy and being smart about, acclimating and taking your time with all the sites. So the first day is arrival in La Paz, and the second day we're going to visit La Paz. We're going to visit the witch market. We're going to go to the Moon Valley that is here. So really wonderful sites on the Bolivian side. And then the last part on your trip that you requested is the Uyuni Salt Flats. So we're going to fly to the Salt Flats. It's a very short 30-minute flight to Uyuni, and we're going to spend 2 nights there. That way you are staying in a salt hotel. You're going to visit the sites all across the flooded sites, the dry salts, the beautiful site in the middle of the salt flat. So there's so much to see and do here, and our guides will be here with you in our 4x4 car and doing all the excursion with you. All the meals are included in Uyuni before we bring you back to the airport on July 22nd from Uyuni to La Paz. It's a morning flight. You should be in La Paz probably by 9 a.m. and then you can take an afternoon flight home from there. So that is your trip, 15 days. Limiting to 4-star and boutique hotels, and really incorporating everything on your wish list except the Amazon. I didn't add it because it's really going to blow your budget. You have to fly to the Amazon and you have to spend at least 3 nights in an Amazon jungle lodge. So I suggest including that in a separate trip. The Amazon jungle is not just in Peru, it's in Ecuador, which is fantastic. It's one of my favorite. It's in Brazil, it's in Bolivia. So there's many places where you can go to the Amazon, but these sites on this itinerary are only on the route that I included in Peru and Bolivia. So let me know your thoughts and if you want to make any changes to bring it down to your budget, but I'm happy to help and tweak it, and happy travels.